You're watching Good Morning Suncoast at 5.
Good morning. Final day of February. February.
For those of you that love craft beer.
What?
All right? Or cold brewed coffee, either one.
It is Wednesday, and John Scalzi will bail us out of this early jam. Good morning, John.
Good morning. How's it going over there?
All right.
Good. A little over-caffeinated, but we've got this.
I tell you what, it was warm yesterday once again. Were you outside at all in the afternoon?
Yes.
85
Beautiful.
degrees, almost hit a record again yesterday.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. Today, I think will probably be a degree or two cooler, but still, it's a lovely start to the morning. A little bit drier air in place, making it feel just a little bit more comfortable. We have no issues with fog, rain, temperatures, wind, nothing. Morning commute is A-OK. Airport hubs serving Sarasota all on time. No issues there, though I will say maybe a little later in the day might have some problems with the Atlanta airport because of some showers ongoing there. We have across our region no rainfall to worry about this morning. We have no fog to worry about, and the day planner looks really good. We'll have a daytime high today that tops out about 83 degrees, similar to yesterday. Mix of sun and fair weather clouds, and as I said, no rain in today's forecast. Complete details about a cool front coming our way. Ooh, yeah, coming up in just a few.
You're outvoted 2-1 on that one. Let's check the roads. A little buildup already there. 14th Street West in the southbound lanes as you leave Cortez. Very thick red line there, so avoid that if you can. You might want to take 26th Street to the west there if you can. The northern half of Sarasota County shows a buildup already on Fruitville Road, eastbound, as you head toward McIntosh and Honore. South County, all clear at 5:02 a.m.
Well, Manatee County will be beefing up security in schools throughout the county in the coming days. And parents taking their kids to school on Monday, March 5th, they're going to notice a lot bigger presence of law enforcement as well. Our Marla Spence is out there to talk a little bit about that for us today.
Yeah, Ray and Stephanie, after Manatee County Schools saw its own share of threats and lockdown, school officials are doing what they can to ensure student safety, but this time from an infrastructure approach. Now, so far, the school board is working with the fire marshal and the sheriff to identify gates that need to be secured on all public Manatee County schools. In addition to doing that, the school board is working with a company that specializes in defense systems. Mission Critical Solution is that company. So far, they're contracted to secure federal buildings and agencies like NASA and Homeland Security. We spoke to Dr. Scott Hopes with the school board, and he tells us what exactly the company plans to do to harden Manatee County schools. Coming up at 5:30, we're going to be telling you. We're going to be telling you when that company plans to come to Manatee County in order to help harden Manatee County schools. Reporting live in Manatee County, I'm Marla Spence for ABC 7, your Suncoast News.
And as we mentioned, Manatee County will be beefing up security in schools throughout the county in the coming days. And parents taking their kids to school next Monday, you guys are going to notice a much greater law enforcement presence. The Manatee County School District says deputies will now be in every elementary school in unincorporated Manatee County. Now, as for the high schools, there will now be 2 deputies instead of 1. The middle schools will still have 1 deputy in each school.
I think temporarily it'll be a good fix. I think in the long term we need to take another look at our gun laws and do a temporary ban on assault rifles.
And of course, in recent days, there have been threats to a few schools which forced some to go into lockdown. Dr. Scott hopes that we'll be in Tallahassee today to speak with state officials about receiving funding for those extra officers.
School safety a concern in Venice as well. Yesterday, the City Council increased funding for school resource officers, including a full-time officer at Venice Elementary School. In the past, Venice High School and Venice Elementary have shared an officer. The police department hopes to have a new officer hired and trained by the end of the school year. In the meantime, patrol officers are assigned to stay at the school during the school day.
Well, today is the first day of classes for students at Stoneman Douglas since that shooting 2 weeks ago.
ABC's Diane Macedo tells us the changes they'll see when they return to school today.
This morning, a difficult return for students at Stoneman Douglas High School.
I don't think anyone is physically prepared or mentally prepared to actually walk into those red gates.
A modified schedule starts today, 2 weeks after a former student opened fire, killing 17 people.
I don't know if I'm going back to school yet, like to that school particularly. I'm going to finish school and graduate, obviously, but I don't know if I'm going to go back to Stoneman Douglas yet.
The freshman building where the shooting happened will stay closed, and all off-duty Broward County law enforcement officials will be there to greet the students. The school's principal tweeted, "There's no need for backpacks. Come ready to start the healing process and reclaim the nest." Meanwhile, the officer who captured the suspect was honored at an event on Tuesday. Officer Michael Leonard was reluctant to call himself a hero and got emotional talking about that day.
When you come against evil like that and you have children at home that are about that age, it's very close to my heart, and it was difficult, but I'm so honored that I was able to be a part and do my part and take this killer into custody.
It's not just Americans showing support for the students in Parkland. Scientists all the way down in Antarctica posted this message. "Marjorie Stoneman Douglas, our love for you is so strong, it reached the South Pole." Diane Macedo, ABC News, New York.
Happening in Florida, Florida lawmakers taking steps on gun regulations. Yesterday, the House and Senate met and advanced some gun-related bills, but the bills fall short of expectations for some who support tighter restrictions. The House removed any possibility that Florida will ban assault-style weapons. They voted to include a program to arm teachers. The Senate version adds a way to opt out of that.
We're trying to at least be able to go home to our kids and say, you made some history. It may not have been all of the history that you asked for.
Both the Senate and House versions of the new gun bill raise the legal age to buy a gun to 21. It does not address possessing one, though. Also, bump stock sales are banned, but owning them is not banned. Stay in control of your news. You can customize what news you want to see on our app, whether it's local, state, or all of the above. Just download our app by searching WWSB or My Suncoast in the App Store. Goodwill Minnesota is keeping millions of pounds of waste from landfills. According to reports by the Sarasota Patch, in 2017, Goodwill diverted more than 41 million pounds of items that would have normally ended up in landfills. Items include clothing, furniture, books, and more. They're doing it by working with local partners that also salvage, recycle, and resell. Their goal is to reach zero waste in our area.
Well, about 9% of Sarasota is made up of millennials, but a big number of those are looking to leave the area, which could end up hurting the city in the future. Now, half of the millennials born between the early 1980s and early 2000s, surveyed by Sarasota's Young Professionals Group, say they want to leave the area because of the high cost of housing and because they're making less here when compared to the rest of the country. Now, the Sarasota Chamber of Commerce admits its salaries in the city have lagged behind the national average and even the rest of the state as well. U.S. News and World Report found that housing costs are 9% higher in Sarasota compared to the rest of the country, but salaries here are making about 8% less than the rest of the country.
Housing has really been a difficult issue for our wages to keep up with the price appreciation.
The cost of housing keeps going up and up and up. And that's a real challenge when we look at retention because young professionals are moving around a lot more.
According to the U.S. Census, millennials already make up a quarter of the population and outnumber the baby boomers. They're also the most educated generation in American history, which is why it's so important to keep them here. Coming up tonight at 6, we're going to share what some millennials are doing in order to continue living here on the Suncoast.
Riverview High School getting a new principal, and she is no stranger to the district or that school. Erin Del Castillo will be the principal for Riverview starting next school year. Right now, she's the principal at Venice Elementary School, and she was the assistant principal at Riverview before that. She'll replace Paul Burns, who left Riverview at the end of last year to take a position with the State Department of Education. Del Castillo is scheduled to start her new position after this school year ends.
Well, students at Riverview are learning how to save lives. Sarasota County Emergency Services partnered with the high school seniors to teach them how to perform CPR. Sarasota County Sheriff's Office said in an email that they hope the students can take these skills with them into college and into the real world and beyond.
Some good skills to have.
I think so, very much so. When they talk about like an app that's out there now that can bring first responders, you can talk about high school seniors that will have those basic skills. The more you can get out, the better, I think.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Still ahead in Good Morning Suncoast, First Alert traffic, and when we come back, we'll show you why these elementary school students are jumping for joy.
And coming up a little later in the hour, this college basketball player is going viral. We're going to show you the video that has everybody talking.
Here's a live picture of Ed Smith Stadium. Today is ABC 7 Day at the Orioles game. We will be there.
Yes, it is. This is our first joint morning appearance. The first Ray and Stephanie show.
We'll be out.
Then we'll be there.
Fog, not much of an issue today. As reported yesterday, most of the visibilities are well above 10 miles, except down about Immokalee. They got a quarter-mile visibility there. We are looking at a school bus forecast that calls for pleasant weather today. Daytime highs will top out warm, and so will the morning. Pickup time at the school bus stops will be about 71 degrees under pretty quiet conditions, maybe a little patchy inland fog, but nothing serious. And then drop-off conditions about 83 degrees. Complete forecast in a few.
Here's something we bet you didn't know. Nearly half of all cancers can be prevented. That's right, half. Nearly 50%, mostly by making small everyday changes in your diet and controlling your weight, walking more, eating less, and eating foods that help you and your family to seriously reduce the risk of cancer. And of course, by not smoking. Visit the Cancer Prevention Together We Can website and get a free 30-day planner filled with tips, recipes, stats, and more about protecting your family. Go to prevent50.org.
At Tidewell Hospice, we know it's never too late to say thank you to our military veterans. The Tidewell Honors Veterans Program has provided care to more than 13,000 military families since 2008. Tidewell volunteers help honor veterans through special pinning ceremonies that demonstrate our appreciation for the freedom our veterans fought to defend. If you know a veteran who can benefit from end-of-life care, call or visit tidewell.org today. Tidewell Hospice. It's more than you think.
My Hometown Fest is coming to Nathan Benderson Park Saturday, March 3rd. Join us for culinary favorites from across the U.S. paired with your favorite craft beers. There's also great live music and activities for adults and kids. Buy your tickets today at myhometownfest.org.
Stay connected to your clients and new customers using ABC7 Digital Media Services. Our team of professionals provide a wide array of digital services to help you get the most out of your website. We specialize in building and helping you maintain the most effective digital solutions for your business. It's vital that your online presence stands out, so our experts will equip you with the best resources available. Trust ABC7 Digital Media Services to give you the right tools to grow your business.
Who else has been taking your prescriptions? Keep your medicine and your family safe and secure. Mind your meds. To learn how we can help, visit the Partnership for Drug-Free Kids at drugfree.org.
I'm Alan Cohn. The NRA and local politics after the massacre in Parkland. People are calling for a change, but what if the NRA's money is in your politicians' pockets?
Tonight on ABC 7 News at 7, your Suncoast News. We're here for you. Now your ABC 7 First Alert Weather Forecast with meteorologist John Scalzi.
So we're looking at temperatures across the region, which are a little strange this morning. Coming in at 64 degrees in Sarasota, 66 Lakewood Ranch, 64 in Parrish, Bradenton. Venice coming in at 67, and Inglewood comes in at 67 as well. Forecast current conditions are 46 degrees or 64 degrees if you're dyslexic. 64 degrees with, nah, it's not raining. Forget that icon. That is a mistake. Coming in from the Weather Service sensor, it's reporting rainfall, but there is none out there. 61 degree dew point. We have an east wind coming in at about 7. For today, we'll get up to about 72 degrees by 9 a.m. and then by 12 noon, about 80 degrees, just getting pretty close to it. And then by 3 p.m., 83 degrees or so. 7 p.m. temperature will be about 73. And as we head into the evening, I think we'll be enjoying temperatures once again that'll be in the 60s. A little bit of rain shower activity in the deep south. That's all part of a frontal boundary which is beginning to take shape that will eventually bring us some cooler temperatures. We don't have much in the way of a rainfall chance across the state of Florida, but the Atlanta area, yes, there'll be some rainfall around. Most of the heavy stuff, though, I think will be just to the north of that. Titan radar not indicating any rain across the region. We have, as far as our weather goes, you know, some pretty benign conditions with a big ridge of high pressure that sits over the state of Florida. That will provide us with a southeasterly wind flow today. Low pressure area to the north of us will eventually take shape and sink southward across the region. That'll bring us a chance of some rain showers perhaps on Thursday night or early Friday morning, but that'll all be moving out of the area as we head into the early morning hours on Friday. Winds tomorrow will probably be more out of the south because of a high pressure ridge sinking south. That will provide us with 2 more warm days. Shower Thursday night into Friday morning, and then what everybody's talking about, that cooler weekend. Temperatures will go from the, well, in the case of yesterday, mid-80s to mid-70s. So we'll have about a 10-degree drop in temperature. Dew point values, even despite the fact that a weak front washed out over us yesterday, remain in the 60s today. 61 degrees in Sarasota, 60 in Orlando. And dew point values to the north are in the mid-50s. They never really made it further to the south. We do have some cold air back to the west, though. Check it out. 22 degrees in Billings. We have 26 degrees in Denver, 33 in Salt Lake City, 50 in Kansas City. All of that colder air will slowly drift to the east, but some of it will also sink south, and that's the taste of the colder air that we'll be getting as we move into Friday. Check out these low temperatures. We have 66 degrees today, 69 degrees tomorrow as our winds turn to the south, and then boom, the front comes through and we look at temperatures that on Saturday night might be in the 40s in some inland locations. Forecast for beach and boating looks good. Southwest wind today at about 5 to 10, becoming more southwesterly and light during the overnight. And then today, 83. Tomorrow, 82. Friday, the front comes through, 78. And then on Saturday, we hit the mid-70s. Full sunshine, lower relative humidity, cool, crisp nights. Sound good? Sunday's the same. Beautiful weekend in store for us. And that trend will continue even into the beginning of next work week. Back to you.
All right, let's take a look outside to your first alert traffic this morning. Now, looking at the traffic that is out there, we are seeing some congestion on 301 southbound and northbound heading in or out of Bradenton. If you're heading into North Sarasota, those roads are actually looking not too bad this morning. Just a couple blips right there, especially one right there at Clark Road. We're starting to see some congestion right after you get off of 75. Heading a little farther south into South Sarasota, those roads are looking pretty smooth out there this morning. None of those real big congestion points on there on 41 just yet. A little slowdown right there around Hillsborough Road. Heading a little farther south on that map, we're not seeing too much the farther south that you go. The roads are still looking pretty smooth out there this morning. It is 5:18, and that is your first alert traffic.
Some amazing video caught on camera. Heavy rain left entire counties in the Midwest underwater. Look at this. High floodwater from the Ohio River. 4 states experiencing severe floods. 22 counties in Indiana alone have issued a disaster emergency. Rescue crews say the flooding is far from over. You saw it. Why? The power is back on in Puerto Rico, and some kids couldn't be happier. It's been 5 months since Hurricane Maria tore through the island. That video was taken earlier this month by the first wave of workers sent there from the U.S. mainland to restore power on the island. But the federal government plans to send 2 more waves of employees. The total number of restoration workers on the island right now, more than 5,500 utility workers. And this 30-second video is touching millions of hearts. Watch this. A college basketball player named Mike Lewis at Duquesne in Pittsburgh gave food to a woman he saw around the campus sleeping in her car. He grabbed some of his post-game meal and came and knocked on her driver's side door.
First, it scared the living daylights out of me. I was sleeping. He knocked on the window, and I was like, ah.
I would have said the same thing. But the pizza was delivered to her, and she brought it back to her shelter and shared the story and the pizza. She says she hopes to see that player again sometime real soon.
I love that. All right, well, still ahead on Good Morning Suncoast, Amazon is making a big purchase out there today. They're going to be buying that doorbell camera. It's going to ring for like $1 billion in sales. We're going to show you how Amazon Prime members can finally get a hold of it. It was actually on Shark Tank at one point.
And cracking down on security on passenger trains. We'll show you a high-tech approach at Penn Station.
Oh, you're looking right now, live picture of the Happy Movie Place. That is Dolby Theater in Hollywood, and that is where the Oscars are going to be on Sunday night. It all starts at 8 o'clock, officially right here on ABC 7. A little earlier, you can see the red carpet and all the good interviews as well. We'll be right back. You're watching Good Morning Suncoast.
Credit card debt can ruin your life. If you owe $10,000 and minimum payments are siphoning away your paycheck each month, you can get debt-free in less time than you think.
I've paid $800 a month for the past 3 years and haven't changed the balance on my credit card.
Get debt-free now has a program to reduce your debt, stop the harassing phone calls, avoid financial ruin, and settle for less than you owe.
I feel like a huge weight has been lifted off my shoulders.
You're pre-approved for our special hardship program if you owe $10,000 or more. Upon payment of your new lower balance, your debt will finally shrink until you are debt-free.
My family no longer has 30 years of payments ahead of us at 20% interest.
There's no fees until you see results. So call now, make one monthly program payment, and free up your cash. Resolve your debt.
Call 800-685-6422, 800-685-6422.
This is your brain. This is drugs. This is your brain on drugs. Any questions?
Yeah, I have questions.
Prescription drugs aren't as bad as street drugs, right?
Weed's legal, isn't it?
Drinking is worse than smoking weed.
Isn't it? Why
is heroin so addictive?
Molly just makes you feel happy.
I have questions.
Mom?
Dad, did you ever try drugs?
They're going to ask. Be ready. Go to drugfree.org. A message from Partnership for Drug-Free Kids.
One of the motivating factors for me to become a Big Brother was that I was mentored as a youth. And it was important for me to kind of pass forward the things that were kind of given to me. It's really just as simple as getting to know a kid. You don't have to be an athlete. You don't have to be rich. You don't have to have any of those other things. You just have to be willing to spend a little time and help mold some young person's life.
In consumer news, Stephanie has the latest changes and new changes in airport technology. Hopefully get us through security faster, Stephanie.
Yes, those are all good words. We have that story for you coming up. But first, we have new technology supposed to make train stations safer. New York's Penn Station is working with Amtrak to roll out new equipment that will detect explosive devices on people as they walk by without having to stop them. Now, those machines will scan for concealed explosive devices like a suicide vest.
We're going to do everything that we can to look at it, to analyze it, and make sure it's the best thing for us and our customers as well.
Now, Amtrak is going to test the devices at Penn stations for a week. If they decide to move forward with it, scanners would be operated by Amtrak employees, not the TSA. And Miami International Airport is one of the first to break out new technology to make traveling into the country a little smoother. It's the first in the country to try out facial recognition kiosks. And they celebrated the ribbon cutting yesterday. Now, that technology verifies the traveler's identity by matching them to the document that they're carrying. Now, even better, it can quickly screen as many as 10 passengers per minute.
What you see before you here on the new central terminal really is the fusion of the most advanced biometric technology using the facial recognition software combined with the simplified entry, simplified arrival process.
The other bonus, it gives the TSA more time to focus on the person in front of them to try and determine their true purpose and intent of their travel. And Amazon is making a smart purchase, a smart doorbell maker that was once rejected on Shark Tank.
ABC's Candace Gibson and Diane Macedo have details in this morning's Tech Bites.
In today's Tech Bites, Amazon's new smart doorbell.
The giant online retailer is buying Ring. The Wi-Fi devices allow residents to see and talk to visitors before opening the door.
The company was rejected on Shark Tank 5 years ago. Amazon is reportedly paying $1 billion for it.
Google's new smart camera Clips is now for sale. The camera can even decide what pictures it should take.
It recognizes images that are interesting. For example, if it sees your baby smiling, it'll snap a few pictures. The camera costs about $250. And Domino's is teaming up with Ford to test self-driving food delivery cars in Miami.
Ford says once the car arrives, you use a keypad on the side of the vehicle to access the order, and you won't have to tip.
Wow, that's good.
30 minutes or less.
Well, let's hope. Those are your Tech Bites.
Have a great day.
Tech Bites, brought to you by Happy Family Yogurt.
This is a happy belly. This is too. And so is this. At Happy Family, we're on a mission to keep them that way. It's why our delicious organic yogurt is made without any added sweeteners, because that adorable belly is sweet enough already. Introducing Happy Baby and Happy Tot whole milk yogurt with probiotics. Because happy starts on the inside.
Enamel is the strong, white outer layer of your tooth surface. The thing that's really important to dentists is to make sure that that enamel stays strong and resilient for a lifetime. The more that we can strengthen and reharden that tooth surface, the whiter their patient's teeth are going to be. Dentists are going to really want to recommend Pronamel Strong and Bright. It helps to strengthen and reharden the enamel. It also has stain lifting action. It's going to give their patients the protection that they need and the whiter teeth that they want.
This is an important medical announcement. Bard IVC filters have been linked to punctured veins and problems with migration. Anyone who's received a Bard IVC filter must receive medical monitoring and may be entitled to substantial compensation. If you have the Bard Recovery G2 or G2 Express filter, you are in a class of patients who should be compensated for some expenses. Call now for a free assessment of your case and potential money damages. This call is confidential. There's no cost and you may be eligible. Juries have awarded millions of dollars to people who should have been warned about the risks of the Bard IVC filters. Call the IVC Filter Hotline if you or a loved one has received an IVC filter and experienced a vein puncture or required medical monitoring. You must call now.
Call 800-329-3089. 800-329-3089.
Patriotism. It inspires passionate debate. It's worn like a badge of honor with good reason, because it means love and devotion for one's country. But what really makes up this country of ours? It's the people. To love America is to love all Americans. This year, patriotism shouldn't just be about pride of country. It should be about love. Love beyond age, sexuality, disability, race, religion, and other labels. Because love has no labels.
We've all heard how military veterans adjusting to the civilian world may have certain issues.
30. 70.
If only everyone had this issue. No matter what challenge they face, Easter Seals is here for America's veterans.
That is a pretty good breakfast. You're not even eating.
Not hungry.
No? Why not? What's up?
Kath and I knew that Jenny had been partying a bit. Found out she tried heroin.
Most people don't know what to say about drugs, but we do. Visit us at drugfree.org.
A promise was made, a promise that hit the beaches of Normandy, a vow that captured Iwo Jima, a contract that weathered Tet, a pledge that stormed the desert in Iraq, an IOU that braved IEDs in Kandahar. A promise was made to America's veterans. DAV fights to keep that promise, so all veterans and their families get the benefits and support they earned. For help, visit DAV.org.
Get breaking news, plus first alert weather and traffic focused on where you live. Watch Good Morning Suncoast on ABC 7, weekdays starting at 5.
Coming up on Good Morning Suncoast, one of President Trump's closest advisors behind closed doors yesterday questioned on the Russian investigation, what she did or didn't reveal.
I'm live at the Manatee County School Board, where school officials here are working with a company who plans to help secure Manatee County schools. We have a live report straight ahead.
And imagine an alligator at your front door. We'll have more on that tale. Get it?
Oh, God.
And more next on Good Morning Suncoast.
You're watching Good Morning Suncoast at 5:30.
Good morning to you. Welcome to Wednesday morning, halfway through the week. That is a look outside this morning. Beautiful day ahead. Thanks for joining us this morning. It is 5:30. I'm Stephanie Webb.
That shot looks like it's fake. It's so pretty.
I
know
know. It's so beautiful out there today.
That's where we live. That's the Rosemary District. Good morning. I'm Ray Collins. Let's go to John Scully and details of the midweek forecast, John.
Yes, indeed. You might have noticed that on that on that tower cam that the image was a little more crisp than it was yesterday.
Yeah.
We had some fog around, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, not much of a fog problem around anywhere here. Inland, maybe a little bit of patchy fog. Watch for that, but it's mostly down to our south as opposed to in our neck of the woods. Currently, we have temperatures that are very pleasant, really. A little bit cooler in inland areas than they were 24 hours ago. We've got 64 Arcadia, 63 in Wauchula, closer to the coastline, 64 Sarasota, Bradenton, Parrish coming in at 63, Longboat Key at 67. So is Venice and Inglewood, just a tad bit cooler at 66. Northport comes in at 65 degrees out there right now. And the temperature change over the last 24 hours is significant. Wauchula and Arcadia almost 10 degrees cooler this morning than they were 24 hours ago. Sarasota minus a degree in Bradenton. So some slightly drier air filtered in with that front that moved through. Still, no rain showers around, and the forecast for today kind of remains unchanged. We'll start off a little bit cooler, but we'll end up about the same, 83 degrees or so for a daytime high. Complete forecast in a sec.
All right, talk to you soon. It's a date. Thank you, John. Checking the roads. You'll notice up there by the Ellington Outlet Mall some issues heading toward it on 301 in the northbound lane. Also, you'll see on 14th Street West in the southbound lane as you get away from Cortez. Really an ongoing issue there this morning at 14th Street West south of Cortez. Clark Road westbound around Honore. And then checking our maps to the south, we'll find out in the South County region, nothing much to report. We'll check some more of the South County right now and see, yes, there is nothing going on.
Well, after weeks of threats against students and lockdowns, Manatee County School Board members are trying to formulate a plan to ensure the safety of all students and teachers in local schools.
So how exactly will classrooms become safer? ABC 7's Marla Spence explains.
Well, Ray and Stephanie, the Manatee County School Board is planning to hire a company out of Tampa called Mission Critical Solutions to hopefully help Manatee County schools have a safer environment. That company, like I said, right out of Tampa, is a company that works to secure many federal buildings and agencies like NASA and Homeland Security, and now Manatee County schools will be added to their list of clients they protect. The company plans to protect schools by adding tools like electronic doors to all Manatee County schools in case of an emergency.
That company has offered to come in and do an assessment of current technology that we have that we may not be maximizing to the fullest extent around security.
And that company, hopefully, according to that Manatee County School Board member, Scott Hopes, he says that Mission Critical Solutions, they are planning to come to Manatee County as soon as next week to assess schools around the Manatee County area to hopefully ensure student safety. I'm Marla Spence reporting live in Manatee County for ABC 7, your Suncoast News.
All right, thank you, Marla. Governor Scott will be in Tampa this morning talking about his action plan to keep students safe. The plan includes $500 million for school safety, mental health. Part of that will go toward bulletproof glass and metal detectors. The governor's proposal follows the emergency meetings he held last week with law enforcement, educators, mental health experts, and students from Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School in Broward County. So today he'll be at the Hillsborough Sheriff's Office at 9:15 this morning. For the latest on this story, breaking news, and the forecast, click on our app. You can find it under WWSB or My Suncoast.
One of President Trump's closest aides behind doors yesterday for almost 9 hours. Hope Hicks arrived on Capitol Hill to be questioned on the Russian investigation. Now, she is one of President Trump's closest advisors, but lawmakers say Hicks refused to answer questions about her time in the White House and some questions about the transition. Hicks told the committee that she was instructed not to by the White House.
The president's son-in-law, Jared Kushner, will no longer have access to the president's daily briefings. Kushner has lost his high-level security clearance. This downgrade gives him access to fewer government secrets. The Chief of Staff, John Kelly, is reassessing credentials on a number of staffers, but the White House isn't going into details yet about Kushner's access.
Do not comment on individual security clearances. He's a valued member of the team, and he will continue to do the important work that he's been doing since he started in the administration.
At this point, it's unclear how long the diminished security clearance will last, but the FBI is expected to wrap up Kushner's background check within a month.
Well, this time, James Comey says, this time there will be a tape. The former FBI director tweeted that out yesterday. His new audiobook is almost done. Now, a flashback to last year, shortly before the president fired Comey in May, when Trump tweeted that there better not be any tapes of their conversations that get leaked to the press. Comey's book, called A Higher Loyalty, Truth, Lies, and Leadership, is set to be released on May 1st.
On to local politics now. Just 2 weeks after voters elected Margaret Good to fulfill the balance of Alex Miller's state house seat for the rest of this year only, the race is on again. Among the names looking to unseat Good are two familiar names: former state rep Republican Ray Pilon, who wants to get back into politics now, also former school board candidate Teresa Mast, and Libertarian candidate Allison Foxhall is back in the race, even though she received just 3% in the special election just 2 weeks ago.
Republican legislative leaders in the state are starting their final negotiations on a new budget with only a week left to finish the session on time. Now, that session is scheduled to end on March 9th, but state law requires that budget to be finished 72 hours before a final vote. The Senate chairman says legislators have agreed on how much to spend overall, and the House and Senate do agree to set aside about $80 million for tax cuts. Now, the new budget will also include nearly $400 million to improve safety and provide mental health services in schools. And new developments in the rules behind backup generators in Florida nursing homes. Florida's House of Representatives will vote to consider ratifying a rule requiring nursing homes to have backup power sources. Now, this rule passed the Health and Human Services Committee yesterday. If passed into law, it would require facilities to keep 72 hours of fuel on site. Almost 600 nursing homes in the state must be in compliance by July 1st. And Mote Marine Laboratory is actively researching Florida stone crabs and how the species is impacted by ocean acidification. The first study on its effects was published just a month ago by a Mote scientist. It offers ways to relieve environmental stress on the crabs. Now, Florida stone crab harvest has declined about 25% since the start of the century. Mote scientists are studying the crabs under different environmental conditions to help manage and sustain the fishery.
Okay, ready?
Yes.
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
A 9-foot alligator showed up at the front door of a house in Cocoa Beach. There it is.
No!
That's not Girl Scout cookies.
No, he does not have Thin Mints.
Patrol officers and animal control had to remove it by force. According to state wildlife officers, it's common for gators to roam during warm weather searching for water. It's over there.
Or a mate.
That's you.
Oh, yeah.
Experts advise the public if you see a gator, it's outside its habitat, not to feed it or attempt to go near it. Call local law enforcement or the Florida Fish and Wildlife Service immediately.
I feel it's kind of a redundant warning because I'm not going to go try and go all like crocodile hunter on that thing.
No.
I'm going to stay away. I am not going to try and feed it.
Peek out the mail slot.
Yes, yes. Go away.
I'm not coming out.
Nope.
No. Land shark.
Right?
No.
Nope.
I don't believe it. Up next, First Alert Traffic and a new test that can tell us how old we really are. We'll show you how it works when we come back.
Well, something is noticeably different at the Oscars this year. We're going to show you why people are celebrating some big changes finally.
It is ABC 7 Day at Ed Smith Stadium. Stephanie and I will be out there at the baseball game. If you're going, make sure you come by our table and say hello. Love to see you. The game starts at 1:05 today in Sarasota. John?
So we're looking at some pretty nice weather out there right now. This is the Lakewood Ranch webcam, which you remember yesterday had a lot of fog around. Well, this morning, we don't have any such thing. There are no weather impediments to your morning commute, nor for the chance of an outside recess. 10 out of 10 chance the kids will be out of doors today. Complete forecast in a minute.
During the past 10 years, Tidewell Hospice volunteers have provided more than 1 million hours of service. They sit with patients, giving caregivers a break. They work in offices. They take their furry friends on pet therapy visits. They even clown around. Every task performed by a volunteer makes a difference in the lives of our patients and their families. Join Tidewell's volunteer team. They're truly 1 in a million. Tidewell Hospice. It's more than you think.
Today, everyone is looking for carpeting that lasts longer. G. Fried has you covered with Karastan. With a legacy of quality and integrity, we provide you with a huge selection of Karastan carpets with exclusive lifetime limited warranties. All installed by our highly skilled, highly knowledgeable team. Come ask us why Karastan is the best and most durable. G. Fried Flooring America. Our world is at your feet.
Tickets are going fast for My Hometown Fest, Saturday, March 3rd from noon to 5 at Nathan Benderson Park. Enjoy foods from 40 area restaurants, 40+ craft beers, live music, and lots of fun. Get your tickets today at myhometownfest.org.
I took my first handful of pills, and that's when all my priorities seemed to change.
He would ask to use the bathroom in other people's homes.
He just assumed that they would have medication.
He'd go in their medicine cabinets and steal prescription drugs.
I wish I knew really what these prescription pills were.
We were so naive about the whole drug thing.
These are all synthetic forms of heroin.
Keep your medication locked up because you'll never notice that a pill is gone.
Mind your meds. Learn more from the Partnership for Drug-Free Kids.
I am the resident district manager on the FAU campus for Chartwell. Whenever I see Haley, I do not see a person with a disability. I see a person with extraordinary abilities. Haley is always smiling. She's always on time. She gives fantastic customer service and is always focused on any job that she's given.
Hi, this is Dan Marino. When your business recruits people with disabilities, everybody wins. To find out how, go to abilitieswork.employflorida.com.
Coast Guard, we are taking on water.
The United States Coast Guard. They secure our ports and waterways, protect our environment, keep drugs away from our kids, and save lives. It's dangerous work. And in times of triumph or tragedy, the Coast Guard Foundation answers the call to support Coast Guard members and their families. Learn more at coastguardfoundation.org.
Hi, I'm Janelle Hale, founder and CEO of the National Breast Cancer Foundation. No one should face breast cancer alone. When I was diagnosed 36 years ago, there was no internet, and I had to make a decision with little information. Early detection saved my life. It could save yours too. To learn what every woman needs to know about breast cancer, visit nbcf.org/hope.
Get all the local information you need before you leave home in the morning. Watch Good Morning Suncoast weekdays on ABC 7 to get breaking news, plus first alert, weather and traffic focused on where you live. ABC 7, we're here for you. Now your ABC 7 First Alert Weather Forecast with meteorologist John Scalzi.
Temperatures across the region generally in the 60s most everywhere, lower 60s in inland areas, upper 60s, a little bit closer to the coast for the most part. We have 67 degrees Longboat Key, but we have 64 degrees in Sarasota. Bradenton the same. Dew point value much lower than it was 24 hours ago. And by the way, this rain's, forget about it. That's not the case. It's an error with the sensor at the airport. Dew point value, though, has significantly lowered, almost 8 degrees over the course of 24 hours. So that's nice. It'll probably bump back up again this afternoon because we're going to develop more of a southeasterly wind as opposed to the easterly wind we have right now. Fogged up nearly the issue this morning because of that lower dew point value. Temperatures will rise. They'll be a little cooler this morning than they were 24 hours ago. 72 degrees at 9 a.m. But the thing about dry air is it heats pretty quickly. So by noontime, expect to see a temperature near the 80-degree mark once again. And we'll be at 83 by the time we hit 3 p.m. Moving into the evening hours should be a beautiful sunset, just a few fair weather clouds, and a temperature that drops into the 70s. So across the states right now, we have a couple of things going on. We have an area of low pressure and a frontal boundary that's producing some rain showers just to the north of Atlanta for the most part. But as this system approaches Atlanta, well, the rain showers that are currently in progress at the airport will turn into perhaps a few thunderstorms. So there could be down the road some airport delays, though none are being reported at this time. Back to the west, we have another developing low pressure area that will advance along with this one just to the north of Atlanta. The two of those in concert will bring us some cooler temperatures as we head into Friday. Significantly cooler as we head into the weekend. Not much in the way of a rainfall chance for us today. We're dry as a bone. So double barrel low pressure areas will advance in this direction. And as they do so, our high will be nudged south. What's that mean? It means a twist in our winds, actually. They'll be coming up out of the south by tonight, and I think tomorrow they may even be a little more southwesterly, which will increase the moisture, increase the humidity, and bring us a slight chance of a shower as the next frontal boundary begins to move through our area. And that frontal boundary will bring us some cooler air just as we head into the weekend. Significant changes coming up in our flow pattern across the state of Florida over the course of the next 7 to 10 days, looks like. So 2 more warm days, and by warm, I mean getting close to record-breaking temperatures. Not quite, but close. A shower perhaps Thursday night, early Friday morning as that front approaches and passes through. I think by dawn, the threat of any kind of inclement weather will be gone, so there'll be no issues with the morning commute on Friday, and then we'll look for a cooler weekend. Dew point values are still lower to the north, so the really dry air never really worked its way in. But we did lower our dew points a little bit. Down to the south, the moisture is still pretty thick. And if you are traveling south, leaving right now, you may encounter a little bit of patchy fog just before daybreak. We're looking at temperatures generally in the deep south that are mild. But back to the west, back behind that front, there certainly is some cooler air. And that is headed our way. We've got 26 in Denver currently, 50 in Kansas City. You jump the front and you've got 60 in Memphis and almost 70 degrees in New Orleans right now, even Dallas coming in at 68. So there's certainly a pretty significant cold front headed our way, and it comes through on Thursday night into Friday. Look at the nighttime temperature drop. We go from almost 70 degree dew points or 70 degree low temperatures on Thursday to almost upper 40s as we head into Friday night. Certainly on Saturday night, there will be some inland areas that will be in the upper 40s, as most of us see 50s. And then as we head into the beginning of next work week, we'll start to trend that temperature up just a little bit, but still not all that much. Southwest wind coming in at about 5 to 10, shifts to a more southerly direction tonight at about 5 knots. Looking at a nice day for boating. 2-foot seas, light chop on your bay and inland waters. Looks pretty good. Water temperature now 75. We have a 12:39 high tide and a low tide at 5:36. Another high tide comes at 11:09. Here's your forecast. 83 degrees today, 66 the nighttime low, 82 degrees on Thursday. Friday, that chance of showers, some cooler air works in. And then Saturday, 75. Sunday, a perfect night for viewing the Oscars. And our own Stephanie will be tweeting. And hey, she's got the credentials for a film critic, so the stuff she'll be tweeting will be interesting. And then over the next several days as we head into the beginning of next work week, temperatures in the mid-70s. Back to you.
Oh, thanks for that, John Scalzi. Just for that, I'm going to send you a treat as well. Out there, you're looking at your traffic this morning, is actually not looking too bad so far. Your usual congestion, especially right there on 301, and as you're heading into downtown Bradenton, starting to see some traffic buildups. Now, the rest of our hot spots in the morning, University Parkway, Bee Ridge, Fruitville, those are actually pretty good out there this morning. And the farther south that you go into the area, the roads are still looking pretty clear and mostly congestion-free is there as well. Just a couple hot spots right there on Hillsborough Boulevard on 41. That little interchange right there is starting to see some congestion, but other than that, your traffic is looking pretty good out there the farther south that you go. 549. Well, in this hour's Health Smart, everyone born in the same year has the same chronological age, but our bodies seem to age at different rates, especially when we get up really early in the morning.
Exactly. As Tara Palmieri tells us, there could be an easier indicator of how old a body actually is.
At any high school reunion, you see it. Everyone there is the same age, but some are aging faster than others. Whether it's due to family genes, lifestyle, or environment, a 40-year-old body can look and feel young or old. Researchers who study the difference between chronological and biological aging have long wondered, will they ever have an easy test that shows how old your body is, regardless of the number of candles on your last birthday cake? Researchers who believe that damage to cells from years of oxidative stress is what ages us think they have an answer. Evaluated first in animals and now in humans, they looked at urine samples from more than 1,200 Chinese between 2 and 90 years old. The molecule they think might be an indicator of aging rose consistently as people got older. There wasn't much difference between men and women until women went through menopause, when the level of the molecule rose even higher. Of course, it remains to be seen if this is a good test of aging, but if it is confirmed by later testing, it could be helpful for large-scale aging studies in the future when we're all older. With this Medical Minute, I'm Tara Palmieri, ABC News.
Sharp turn here. 2 years after the Oscars So White hashtag brought attention to the award show lack of diversity, there have been some changes.
Well, since then, the Academy launched an ambitious campaign adding both younger and more diverse voting members. The plan is to double both women and minority members by the year 2020. Change is reflected in this year's nominations, but some say it is far from enough.
In 2016, out of 100 films, 25 didn't have a single African American or black character on screen. Not one that spoke. Over 40 didn't feature Asian American characters, and over 50 didn't feature Latino characters.
Now, among the nominees for original screenplay, Kumail Nanjiani, he's up for Best Adapted Screenplay. Dee Dee Rees, now the first black woman ever to get an Oscar nod for writing. And here it is. You are looking at a live picture of Dolby Theater in Hollywood. This is the movie Happy Place out there this morning, where the Oscars are going to be held Sunday night. You can watch them starting at 8 o'clock right here.
It looks a lot like Ed Smith Stadium.
Did you not just think that too? I mean, it says Dolby Theater. I'm like, it looks so much like Ed Smith Stadium.
There it is.
I'm going to go with Dolby Theater right there. That is also the Happy Movie Place. But you can also find us at Ed Smith Stadium today, but we will not be watching some movies there. We're going to be talking about baseball and spring training with the Orioles.
Nice try.
Right? I tried.
We'll have local headlines and state headlines after this. Stay with us.
You now have the power to prioritize your Facebook feed and get local news and information from the team you trust. Go to the ABC7 Sarasota page on Facebook. Give us a like, then click following and choose See First. That's it. Customize even more by choosing notifications. Choose breaking news, posts, live videos, anything you want to see in real time. Take control of your newsfeed and stay connected to what's happening in your community with ABC7 on Facebook.
My name is Stephen Jaffe. The law firm's name is Farmer Jaffe. One of the beautiful things about Julius is he's always smiling, and it becomes infectious. The fact that Julius has a disability has absolutely nothing to do with the quality of work that he's done. Just a great person you want on your staff.
Hi, this is Dan Marino. When your business recruits people with disabilities, everybody wins. To find out how, go to disabilitieswork.employflorida.com.
I witnessed him have 2 heart attacks in ICU. He went through seizures.
We'd much rather have Aaron like this than dead. A lot of parents don't have that luxury.
He can't talk. He can't walk. This is a condition Aaron will live with for the rest of his life because he abused prescription pills.
Mind your meds. Learn more from the Partnership for Drug-Free Kids.
There was this big bruise on my friend's face. I didn't want to see it. I didn't want to think her own nephew could have hit her.
I didn't want to see it. My mother's bank account was emptied, and a caregiver had taken control of it.
I didn't want to see it. My father's refrigerator, there was hardly anything in it. That's unusual for him.
It's tough to see that a senior citizen is being abused, physically, emotionally, sexually, or financially. Elder abuse is a crime.
So see the signs, stop the crimes.
Want the latest weather and traffic conditions wherever you go? Introducing ABC7's revolutionary new First Alert weather app. With our state-of-the-art new weather app, you get up-to-the-minute weather alerts, interactive radar maps, current conditions, 10-day forecasts, real-time traffic maps, and weather video from ABC7, all at your fingertips. And it's free. Just search Suncoast WX in the App Store and download onto all your devices today. Sponsored by Mr. Sparky.
Selfless service is the principle that guides Army National Guard soldiers to be ready whenever disaster strikes. They have a stake in the well-being of the neighborhoods where they live and work. They train part-time to be ready to serve at all times. Selfless service. It's what inspires the men and women of the Army National Guard to be part of something greater than themselves. Visit NationalGuard.com to learn more.
Here's today's Job of the Day. ABC7 is seeking a multimedia local sales manager. Strong new business, digital, and OTT background required. Visit mysuncoast.com/job of the day to apply.
Well, here are some of the top stories that we're following for you today on the Suncoast.
Students returned to Stoneman Douglas High School this morning. Classes resumed 2 weeks of the day since the shooting massacre on that campus in Broward County.
Plus, they are now a bigger generation than baby boomers. But find out why more millennials these days are leaving the Suncoast. Our special report for you tonight at 6 here on ABC7.
And Governor Scott will be in Tampa this morning unveiling his $500 million plan to increase school security statewide. He'll be at the sheriff's office for a 9:15 a.m. press conference.
And still to come next hour, some students in Manatee County are planning an organized walkout. We're going to tell you which schools are participating in the next hour of Good Morning Suncoast.
Very intriguing. Also, it's ABC7 Day at the ballpark. We'll be out there. So
yes,
if you're at
come
the game,
say hi. Come visit. Take your lunch hour. Go see a game.
Orioles game, by the way, not the Pirates. So see today, there's a live shot of that stadium. Pretty shot there. Thank you, Russ. More news on the way right here on Good Morning Suncoast.